You're watching Two Firsts, your global source for nicotine industry insights. Today, we're focusing on a new industry report from Euromonitor International, a firm that's globally respected for analyzing consumer and regulatory trends worldwide.
Now, all the data and insights we're about to cover come directly from a presentation by Shane McGill. He's Euromonitor's global lead for tobacco and cannabis, so this is coming straight from the source.
All right, so first up, let's look at the market by the numbers. This is a snapshot of where the global nicotine industry stands in 2024.
And the scale is just immense. In 2024, the global nicotine market, and this is excluding China, hit a staggering $582 billion in value. To put that in perspective, that's from a total of 3.5 trillion legal units consumed.
But here's where it gets really interesting. When you break that down, traditional cigarettes still hold the lion's share at $508 billion. But look at this. Reduced-risk products, or RRPs, have surged to $74 billion. That's nearly 13% of the entire market, a huge signal of a major market shift.
And that shift becomes even clearer when you look at the users themselves. The number of traditional smokers actually dropped by 1.6%. At the same time, the number of people using RRPs, we're talking vapes, nicotine pouches, jumped by a massive 8.7%. This isn't just a trend, it's a fundamental structural change in how nicotine is being consumed globally.
So what's behind all this? What's driving this huge transformation?
Well, Euromonitor has identified 5 key trends that are completely reshaping the nicotine landscape.
Okay, so here are the 5 big ones. We've got declining visibility, consumption polarization, the rise of alternative methods, more regulatory pressure, and this really interesting move beyond nicotine. Let's break each one down.
First up, nicotine use is just becoming less visible. Think about it. Social norms are changing, and new regulations like outdoor smoking bans are pushing consumption out of the public eye and more into private spaces.
At the same time, economic pressures are really polarizing the market. A lot of consumers are now downtrading, which basically means they're shifting to value brands because price has become such a big factor.
And while some folks are looking for value, a whole other group is drawn to innovation. The constant churn of new flavors and new delivery methods for things like vapes and nicotine pouches is fueling just incredibly rapid adoption.
But with all this innovation comes a big counterforce: regulatory pressure. It's getting tighter, and what's really critical is that in markets with super strict rules, this has accidentally fueled a booming illicit market that's now competing fiercely with legal products.
And the 5th trend is fascinating. All this pressure is actually pushing the industry to look beyond nicotine itself. There's a growing demand from consumers for functional benefits, like stress relief or better focus, and that's leading companies to explore things like herbal and cannabinoid products.
So all of these trends are pointing toward a future that's changing really, really fast. Let's take a look at what Euromonitor thinks is coming next.
So, the big question is, where is this market actually heading? Well, the Euromonitor report gives us some pretty specific forecasts.
Just take a look at this projection for the huge U.S. market. By 2029, nicotine pouches alone are expected to make up between 10 to 15% of total nicotine consumption. I mean, that is a massive slice of the pie for a product category that's still relatively new.
And that push beyond nicotine we talked about, it's speeding up. The industry is now actively exploring all these new functional categories. We're talking everything from herbal remedies to synthetic analogs. The goal is to meet that growing consumer demand for very specific benefits, like cognitive enhancement or relaxation.
The key takeaway here is clear. The global nicotine industry is in a period of profound adaptation, driven by the intersecting forces of innovation, regulation, and dramatically changing consumer behavior. As the nicotine industry adapts through innovation and changing consumer behavior, Two Firsts will continue to track every shift. For more insights and in-depth reporting, stay tuned and follow Two Firsts.